Can you guys hear me? Yes? Good.
Yes.
All right. So hope everybody is doing well. And for the next couple of hours, we are going to be doing Game Changineer. And I'll explain a little bit of what that is in a little bit. So first of all, welcome to CTech Squared Camp. And you're almost done, right? Tomorrow is the last day. And my name is Michael Hsiao. I'm a faculty member here at Virginia Tech in electrical and computer engineering. All right, so if you have questions, feel free to ask me, or you can even email me directly. My email is just my last name at vt.edu. So on your schedule, you should have the listing of all the faculty members who are leading the sessions. So, and what Game Changineer is, it is a platform developed here at Virginia Tech, and it lets users design video games very quickly. And in the process of designing the video games, you also learn to think computationally. All right? So you learn to describe the actions and interactions of the characters, right? And I had the idea of Game Changineer back in 2012, almost 8 years ago. And I've been working on this since then. And especially in the last 5 years or so, I devoted a lot of time on this. And I'm very happy to be able to have this opportunity today to share this platform with you guys. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. And I'm gonna turn my camera off so that there will be less distraction. And I think if all of us turn off our cameras, then those people that only have one computer will also be able to see more of the screen. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna log in. So you can, if you have a Google account, for example, if your school email is managed by Google, you can use option 1, login option 1. I choose my VT account. Then I'm logged in. Okay? Now the animation on the left is randomly selected. So whatever you see on the left panel is maybe different from mine, and that's okay. All right, so every video game is like writing a story, right? And you learn in school that every story has 2 parts, a setting and a plot. All right, so we're gonna start with the setting. The setting describes the characters in your game. All right, and so let's do that. Let's call the title setting. I think some people are still logging in, so I'm gonna start off quite slow. Setting, but you can call your title anything you want, right? And I'm going to write, there are 10 birds, period. So here, every sentence starts with a capital letter, ends with a period. Okay, so it has to be proper English. There are 10 birds, period. And when you have finished typing this sentence in this text box, go ahead and click on this execute button right here. Right below this text box, go ahead and click on execute. When you execute, it compiles your sentences. In this case, there is only one sentence. So here it says there are 10 birds, and it tells you how much it understood it. All right? If you scroll down, you see this black area. This black area is called the canvas, like an artist's canvas. the title of your game is shown by your name. All right. And down here it says click mouse to begin. Let's click the mouse inside the canvas and the game starts. Now, why aren't the birds doing anything? Very simple, right? Because we haven't programmed it. You can count, there are actually 10 of them. But let's go back and let's finish up the setting. There are 12 foxes near the top. So the birds, we didn't say what the birds should be, so it's going to be randomly placed. Here we want the foxes to be near the top. I'm going to say there is a rabbit near the bottom. When you have finished typing these 2 additional sentences, let's execute again. Okay, so now we have 3 sentences in the setting. So now we have birds, foxes, and a rabbit. The birds are anywhere, randomly placed. The foxes are all in the top half. The rabbit is in the bottom half. All right. Now, when we describe the positioning of the characters in English, it's going to be randomly placing them, because describing the exact position of anything in English is probably not the best thing to do. All right. So if you scroll down your right panel a little bit, okay, go ahead and scroll down your right panel, you'll see another smaller text box called the map. Okay, called the map. So I want you to do the following. It does not have to look exactly like mine, just something similar. I'm going to use the characters of the minus sign with a dash and C as in caret. So I'm going to do dash enter, dash enter, dash C, dash C, dash C, dash C, dash C 5 times. But like I said, it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Enter, dash, dash, 3 lines of dash, single dash. And then I'm going to do 5 dashes and 5 C's. When you have finished typing this, just something like this, go ahead and click on execute. All right. So what have we just done with the map? We've added carets. We've added carets. So the map allows us to also describe the setting. Notice in the top game plan text box, we did not say there are 10 carets, did we? We did not say there are 10 carets. That's okay, because the map is also part of the setting. If you say there are 10 carets up here, that's also okay. That's also okay. All right? That's redundant, but that's okay. So let's see what these symbols mean. So a dash by itself on a single line is a row of blanks. So a dash means blank, if you have not already figured that out. So we have 2 rows of blanks. The third row is blank, caret, blank, caret, blank, caret 5 times. 3 more rows of blanks. The next row is 5 blanks, followed by 5 carets, as we have indicated. Now, all these text boxes on the right panel can be resized at the lower right corner. See, I'm resizing it, so you can resize it if you wish. All right, so how do we know that C is for the caret? See this show high map keys in red right next to the map? If you go ahead and click on that, a legend will pop up. Okay, the left half of the legend is organized by alphabetically of the character names. So the available characters are shown here. These are the available characters. So the character for the pearl is capital R. The symbol for the rabbit is little r. So in a map, it is case sensitive. It is case sensitive. So little r and capital R mean different things. The right half is alphabetical order of the legend. Is alphabetical order by the key. So we start with the empty, dash is empty, little a is alien, B is bird, etc. C is for carrot. Now, if the uppercase and the lowercase letters look very similar, like little c and capital C, then they both mean the carrot. Okay, only if they're different, only if the upper and lower cases look different, like small r and capital R. All right, any questions so far? So if you click on legend, you'll go away. So the canvas, the size of the canvas is 600 pixels by 600 pixels. Okay. Each character, the default size of every character is about 30 by 30. So you can have 20 rows, and each row can have 20 items, okay, in your map. Now, if you scroll that, well, before I do that, I'm going to say there are, remember I just said, if you say there are 10 carrots, that's okay. But suppose I made a mistake. I said there are 15 carrots. There are 15 carrots instead of there are 10 carrots. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to say execute. And it's going to give me a little warning right here. It says the number of carrots in the map differs from that declared in the setting text. Okay? And it tells you you do not need to describe the number of carrots in the game plan if they are already included in the map. So it tells you that. So it will also help you debug. In other words, you don't need this sentence. Okay, if I say there are 10 carrots instead of 15 and I re-execute, that warning goes away. So, all right. So let's scroll down the right panel a little bit more. You'll see another execute button. And there's a save button right next to it. Let's go ahead and click save. That saves your game. That saves your game. To see where your games are stored, click on C directory right next to it. C directory. It will show you all the games that you have created. Okay? You should only have one if you have never used this before. Okay, then you can organize them by alphabetical order or by reverse chronological order. If you click on any of your games, you'll load it into the right panel automatically, right? And to execute, you can just click on execute again. Your game will come back. All right, so we're done with the setting. After the setting, the next thing we do is describe character control for the player, all right? So to do that, we're not gonna waste a lot of time typing. So we've already created several starting game templates for us already because we're time limited today. So what I want you to do is click on Game Changineer here at the top, Game Changineer. You can be a game changineer. You are a game changineer. Click on that. You'll open a new tab. Okay, you can close the previous tab if you like. Open a new tab. All right, open a new tab. You are a game changineer. Click on that. And then I want you to, on the left panel, I want you to click on beginner samples. Beginner samples. 1, rabbit and foxes. 1, rabbit and foxes. Beginner samples, 1, rabbit and foxes. Okay, so I'm gonna click on title, I'm gonna write rabbit and foxes. But you can call it anything you like. Okay, you can call your title anything you like. And then I want you to copy and paste the blue text. This is a starting game plan. Copy Control C if it's a Chromebook or a PC laptop or PC. If it's a Mac, then it's Command C. And then paste it into the game plan. Like I said, you can resize your game plan text box if you like. So here, the first 3 sentences describe the setting. There are 40 carrots. There are 10 foxes near the top. There is a rabbit near the bottom. Very similar to what we did. Okay, except everything's randomly placed. Okay, we're not using the map here. The next 4 sentences describe the next thing that we do in the game, which is character control. The character that we control is the rabbit. And when we describe character control, we do it in a conditional way, like a conditional sentence. Conditional sentences consist of 2 parts, cause and effect. Cause and effect. So when cause, then effect. Okay, the cause here is when the left arrow is pressed. That's the cause. The result or the effect is the rabbit moves left. In computer science, cause and effect have different names with jargon. Cause is also called the antecedent. The effect, the consequent. Antecedent, consequent. Okay, so most of the sentences in the plot will be conditional form. Okay, antecedent, consequent. We'll talk more about that. So we have 4 sentences describing how we control the rabbit. The final 2 sentences describe what we have in the plot. Plot describes the actions and interactions between the characters. So we have carrots, foxes, and the rabbit, right? So here, the very first sentence of the plot is also conditional form. He says, when the rabbit touches a carrot, he eats the carrot. All right, so in these sentences, we want to write them in the following way. So in Game Changineer, we want to help you think like a computer scientist, and most of the modern programming languages like Java, Python, C++, and many others are object-oriented programming languages. You may have heard that term before. If you have not, don't worry about it. What object-oriented language means simply means all the sentences revolve around objects. Objects are nothing but characters in video games. Okay, so characters. So every sentence has a main character in the consequent. Every sentence has a main character in the consequent. So in this sentence, the main character in the consequent is the rabbit. Is a rabbit. So when you put yourself in the shoes or in the perspective of the rabbit, and I say, when putting myself as the rabbit, and I say, when I touch a carrot, I eat the carrot. When I touch a carrot, I eat the carrot. Right? And then you replace that first person pronoun with the character in question. In this case, the rabbit. So you have, when the rabbit touches a carrot, the rabbit eats the carrot. Now, the second rabbit can be changed to the third person pronoun. The system will resolve pronouns for you. And then final sentence is the winning condition. When all the carrots are eaten, you win. So let's execute. So as I said here, okay, sometimes it will give you notes. As you can see here, there's note. So that's whenever there's a yellow tag, here listen tag, you can listen to it.
When the left arrow is pressed, the rabbit moves left.
Okay, let me try that again.
When the left arrow is pressed, the rabbit moves left.
Okay, and then you can also listen to the notes, warnings, and errors. I'll show you the warnings and errors in a little bit.
Note: assuming the rabbit as the controlled character. If you did not intend for this, please add a sentence the player controls the object earlier in your game plan.
All right. And as I said, whenever you have a pronoun, you'll tell you what that pronoun is interpreted as. Like here, when the rabbit touches a carrot, it eats the carrot, right? So the pronoun it is interpreted as the rabbit. If it's incorrectly interpreted, you can always change that pronoun to the exact character. So let's scroll down to your game, start, and use your arrow keys. You should be able to move your rabbit around. Right? So I can eat the carrots. If you eat all the carrots, then you will say you win. Okay. Now, so now our game consists of carrots, foxes, and the rabbit. As I mentioned, the plot describes the actions and interactions between the characters. So here, the very first sentence in our plot is describing the interaction between the rabbit and the carrot. Between the rabbit and the carrot. We have not described the interaction between the rabbit and the fox, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use the fox as the main character in the sentence. When the fox sees the rabbit, he chases the rabbit, right? Suppose I say he chases it. This is a common mistake by younger students, right? Because in your head, you know who you want the two its to represent. Let's execute. Now you have a warning. Okay. Oh, by the way, the default is for the default for the accent is American accent down here. So if you want to change it to British accent, you can. So I'm going to do that. Every time you modify the right panel, you need to re-execute to take effect on the left panel. So
when a fox sees the rabbit, it chases it.
All right. So what's the
warning? For the second pronoun, it is interpreted as rabbit. For sentences containing multiple objects, you should have only one pronoun to reduce ambiguity. Example, when a fox sees a rabbit, it chases the rabbit.
Okay, so whenever you have warning or errors, it gives you the reason for the warning or error. It also gives you one or more example sentences from which you can fix your error, fix your bug. Okay, so it tells you that it chases it. There are two its, so it's gonna try to resolve who is chasing who, right? So here's a big word, but I'm sure many of you know this word already, ambiguity, right? To reduce ambiguity, because natural language, like English, like French, like German, like Italian, Japanese, Chinese, all natural languages have this problem of ambiguity, ambiguous. Ambiguous simply mean two or more interpretations, two or more possible meanings, semantics, two or more possible interpretations. So let's see what possible interpretations we can have here. When a fox sees the rabbit chases the rabbit. When the fox sees the rabbit chases the fox. When the fox sees the fox chases the fox. When the fox sees the rabbit chases the rabbit. Right? So there are four possible interpretations. There's AI behind the translation engine here in Game Changineer. So the first it is interpreted as the fox. The second it is interpreted as the rabbit, as it tells you. Okay? So it's going to work in here. So if I move, it's going to chase me. Okay? But to correct this error, we should change the second it. Okay? Or the first it, doesn't matter. Change one of the its. It chases the rabbit. And then I'm going to add one more sentence. When a fox touches the rabbit, game over. Right? So let's add that final sentence. Now we have a completed very simple cat and mouse game, except the cats are the foxes and the mouse is the rabbit. So let's see that, okay? And now, if a fox touches the rabbit, the game is over, okay? So now you may ask, how does it know when the fox sees the rabbit, right? No fox is chasing me right now. But when I'm close enough, you'll chase me. So there is a default sensing distance, okay, built in the system. We can change that default distance. So using square brackets right after the word sees, I'm going to change it to sees 50. That's 50 pixels. Okay, the default I think is 170. So now I have to be very close to the fox before it starts chasing me. Right? I have to be very close. If I change it to 500, remember the size of the canvas is 600 by 600. So whenever they're 500 pixels away, they start chasing me. They can see me from 500 pixels away. All right. So we're done with this beginner sample. Let's scroll down and save it. Save your game. Any questions so far? I hope I'm not going too fast. If I'm going too fast, please let me know as well. So remember what ambiguity means. Remember what object-oriented style or fashion means. All right, so we're gonna continue to build on this. Let's open a new tab. And you can close the previous tab. Depending on your browser, if you're using Chrome browser, if you have less than 10 tabs open, I think that's okay. But if you're using other browsers like the Internet Explorer, the more tabs you have opened, the slower it's gonna your open tab will run. So I recommend closing some tabs. Now, beginner samples are meant for grades 4 and 5. Okay, I mean, students in 4th and 5th grade can understand the logic. Intermediate samples are for middle schoolers, grades 6, 7, and 8. 80% of those students should have no problem understanding these examples. Advanced samples are meant for high school students, right? So now we're going to go to 1B, Rabbit and Foxes 2, 1B. Let's click on 1B. So I'm going to do 1B, Rabbit and Foxes 2. So now I want you to copy and paste the blue text. Do not copy the map yet. Okay, so as you can see, if I resize this, everything I have highlighted here in the game plan are exactly the same as what we had before. Okay, there are 40 carrots. There are 10 foxes near the top. There are 4 diamonds. Those 3 sentences describe the setting. Remember, every game starts with the setting. Next is character control. If you have character control, if you have a player character, and you describe the character control. Then step 3 is plot. So the first 2 sentences are exactly the same as before, nothing new. Now, oh, by the way, I lied. The setting is not exactly the same. There's one more item called diamonds. There are 4 diamonds. So now we add this. When the rabbit touches a diamond. So we're describing the interaction between the rabbit and the diamond. When the rabbit touches a diamond, the diamond explodes, and the rabbit turns yellow for 8 seconds. So here, actually, as you can see, there are 2 consequences. The first consequence is the diamond explodes. The second consequence is the rabbit turns yellow for 8 seconds. They both depend on the same antecedent, so we can combine them. If you don't combine them and keep them as separate sentences, that's also okay. When the rabbit touches the diamond explodes, period. When the rabbit touches a diamond, the rabbit turns yellow for 8 seconds. 2 sentences, that's also okay. Okay, if they depend on the same antecedent, you can combine them to save typing. But if you keep them separate, that's also okay. Let's execute. So now there are diamonds. As you can see, we're going to turn this into something like Pac-Man without the maze. So I'm going to touch, and I turn yellow. The rabbit turns yellow for 8 seconds. Okay, you can count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008. Okay. So now we're going to describe the interaction between the foxes and the rabbit. But there are 2 types of rabbit, right? There's the rabbit that is yellow, and there's also the rabbit that is not yellow. When a fox sees the rabbit that is not yellow, it chases the rabbit. And the modifier that is not yellow, that describes the rabbit, is only needed in the antecedent. Okay, the consequent should not have any modifier clauses like that, because the character in the consequent refers back to the characters in the antecedent. When the fox sees the yellow rabbit, it flees the rabbit. Okay, flee is the opposite of chase. So in the first sentence here, we don't say it chases. Right? We don't say when the fox eats the rabbit that is not yellow, it chases. Right? In English, that sounds weird. You need to say who it chases, right? It chases the rabbit. In English, sometimes you can say it flees. But remember, flee is the opposite of chase, so flee should also have an object. It flees the rabbit. When a fox touches the rabbit that is not yellow, game over, right? When the fox touches the yellow rabbit, you can say the yellow rabbit or the rabbit that is yellow, either way is fine. It explodes. It refers to the fox. So in Game Changineer, if you have 2 objects in the antecedent, the it in the consequent refers to the first character. For example, if you say, when Bob sees Chuck, he says hi. When Bob sees Chuck, he says hi. He refers to Bob, right? Not Chuck. In English, in general, it refers to 90% of the time, it refers to the first person. So let's see. So now, I want to test if I can eat. Yes, I'm able to eat and make them explode. And they're fleeing me until I return and game over. All right. Now in Pac-Man, whenever Pac-Man is empowered by eating the power product, the ghosts move slower, right? So we can change the speeds. When the rabbit is yellow, the speed of the foxes equals 0.3. So speed is a built-in variable for all the characters. So they're initialized to their default values, which is 1. But we can change them. If the number is less than 1, we need a preceding 0, like 0.3. If you just type 0.3, that point is going to be interpreted as a period, and 3 as the first character of the next sentence. So you need a preceding 0. Otherwise, the speed of the foxes equals 1. All right. So what does this otherwise here mean? Otherwise is like else, if you know programming languages. It reverses the antecedent of the previous sentence, right? So the antecedent of the previous sentence is when the rabbit is yellow. So otherwise here means when the rabbit is not yellow. The speed of the foxes equals 1. Now, when you describe variables, it always has to be the variable name, the variable of the character. Okay, that's object-oriented. If you have already taken C++, Java, or Python, if you know those languages, you'll be like fox.speed. Fox.speed. So the attribute of that character. If you do not know programming, don't worry. You don't need to, you can just forget what I just said. And the way we describe it in Game Changineer is variable name, variable of the character. Now, as I mentioned here, otherwise is negating the antecedent of the previous sentence. Now you may ask, what about this antecedent? Why did we not use otherwise here? When we said, when the fox sees the rabbit that is not yellow, it chases the rabbit. Why can't we just do otherwise it flees the rabbit? Otherwise it flees the rabbit. Well, you could, but the otherwise is going to be sort of difficult to interpret because natural languages like English is very, very rich, right? As you can see here, when the rabbit sees the rabbit, when the fox sees the rabbit that is not yellow, the negation of this could be ambiguous. That the negation of this could mean two different things, right? When a fox does not see the rabbit that is not yellow. Or it could mean the fox sees the rabbit that is yellow, right? Because English is very, very rich. You can pack a lot of things into a clause. So otherwise here will make translation very difficult. Therefore, for complex antecedents, avoid using otherwise. But for simple antecedents, you can use otherwise. So let's now give it a try. So now they're chasing me at a speed of 1. Well, I missed that diamond. So I'm going to eat it. Now they're fleeing from me at a slower speed, okay, making me eating them much easier. All right. Any questions so far? All right. So now I want you to click on instructions on the upper left corner, instructions. Click on instructions. And then click on intermediate samples, 1B again. Click on intermediate samples, 1B again. And this time, I want you to copy and paste the map. Copy and paste the map. Okay. And paste it into the map, the second smaller text box. And then re-execute. Now Now there are walls, right? But I can walk through the walls, right? I can walk through the walls because we have not described interaction between the characters and the walls. So we're going to do that. When the rabbit touches a wall, it stops. So the W's in the map are the walls. C is correct. X is the fox. R is the rabbit. Okay. When a fox touches a wall, it stops. Now re-execute. Now I cannot go through the walls anymore. So now I can kill the foxes. Now it's more like Pac-Man. All right. Now we're done with 1B and we're going to save, click save. Now for the next example, I want you to practice. I want you to practice doing what we just did. You can in fact copy and paste some of these sentences into the next game. But anyway, let's do that. Let's click on You Are a Game Changineer again. And then click on Advanced Samples, 1C. 1C. Rabbit, foxes, rabbit and foxes, 3. And I want you to copy and paste the game plan into the game plan and the map into the map. Now, this is a wider game. This is wider games. That's the only thing that is different that what I'm talking about is the very first sentence in the game plan. The very first sentence says, the canvas is wide with 2 frames. Now, notice every sentence is a complete sentence. Okay? In other words, every clause is descriptive, not imperative. So in other words, you don't say when the rabbit touches a carrot, die. Or when the fox sees the rabbit, chase. You don't say that because every verb needs to have a preceding subject, preceding character. So every clause must be descriptive, not imperative, right? So as you can see, here, it does not have the full game plan. Some sentences are missing, but the map is already given to you. I resized my map so I can see the whole thing. So I start from here. You can reposition your rabbit to be at start, to start a different location. The foxes are not doing anything. So I want you to take the next 5 or 7 minutes. You can open a new tab to look at your 1B, see how that is done, and then code it into this game. Now you have a 2-frame Pac-Man. You have a 2-frame Pac-Man. You need to eat all the carrots. The canvas will automatically scroll with your rabbit. All right, so go ahead and do that for the next 5 to 7 minutes. By the way, you can also add music. And whenever you have errors, use the error messages, the warning messages to help you fix. So 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes. And when you have finished your 1C, and if your game, when you compile your game, when you execute your game, there are no warnings or errors, then next to the save button, in C directory, you'll have a blue share button. You can also share your game by clicking on share button. When you try to share your game, it first checks whether there is an existing game that has been shared before that is very similar to yours. If there exists a very similar game that has been shared, it does not let you share again because of plagiarism. So you have to make your game sufficiently different. And when you share your game, it goes to the community showcase. If you scroll down your right panel sufficiently, beyond the map text box, you'll see a bunch of buttons, one of which is community showcase. So I'm going to click on Community Showcase, see if anybody has shared. Yes, a couple of people have shared. A couple of people have shared. All right. Then you can click on their image, to play their game. So once you share your game, you can see their game and play their game and also modify their game. You cannot modify their account, but you can modify in that game itself. You will not change their game, whatever they have saved. You cannot change what they have saved, but you can copy and paste their game into your own and then remix it. All right. So I'll give you guys 30 seconds to wrap up. Then we're going to work on the next set of games. If you did not finish 1C, don't worry. You can do that later today or this weekend. And if you find this interesting, I also would greatly appreciate you telling your teachers about this platform. Tell your cousins, tell your friends about it. You can also share your game on Facebook. All right, let's click on You Are a Game Changineer again to open a new tab. And this time we're gonna start from beginner game again, beginner sample, 2 breakout. Most of you should have seen this game. It was a game designed in the late 1970s. It was a hugely popular game, like Pac-Man. So 2, Sapphire Breaker. I'm going to call mine Sapphire Breaker, but you can call it Breakout or anything else. Let's copy and paste the blue text into the game plan. So here, the first 3 sentences describe the setting. 40 sapphires. Now we learned something new. Aligned. So that's a quick and dirty way of describing some orderly arrangement of the characters, which we'll see pretty soon what that means. There's a brick near the bottom. There's a ball near the middle. And we're changing the default variable speed for the ball and the brick. So the speed of the ball is 3. The speed of the brick is 4. Okay. And the previous game we control with the arrow keys. This game we control with, some people prefer the left hand to control WASD or WASD to control their games because the positioning of WASD looks like the arrow key pattern. So here we just move left and right. So it's A and V to move the brick left and right. Okay. And here, the plot describes the action and interaction. So the very first sentence describes unconditionally. Unconditionally, it says the ball starts by moving up. What that means is the ball, when the game starts, the ball will be moving up. Okay. And at other times later, the ball can change directions. But when the game starts, it moves up. Then we describe the interaction between the ball and various different things, different characters. So the first one, the interaction between the ball and the sapphire, right? When the ball hits the sapphire explodes and the ball bounces. Again, we combine 2 sentences into 1 sentence here. If you split the sentence into 2, that's also okay. When the ball hits the sapphire explodes, period. When the ball hits the sapphire, the ball bounces, period. That's also okay. when a ball hits a brick, it bounces. When the ball touches the border, it bounces. So let's execute. Let's see. So A and D, A and D. So the four sides of the canvas are called borders. Okay. So now we need to describe the winning and losing conditions. Winning and losing conditions. So in the previous game, we said when all the carrots are eaten, you win. So we can say when all the sapphires are gone, you win. Oh, by the way, the alignment, right? Align 4 by 10. So 4 rows of 10 each. 4 rows of 10 each. Okay, so very crude, very simple. If you want something more exact, I always recommend using the map instead. So now, winning and losing. I'm going to say when 25 sapphires are gone, you win. Okay. And then when the ball touches the bottom border, you cannot just say the bottom. In English, because natural language is ambiguous, you can say when it touches the bottom, game over. But bottom can mean different things, right? We say there is a brick near the bottom, okay, or in the bottom. There's a brick in the bottom. So to be more specific, we say the bottom border. If you just say the bottom, it's going to give you a warning. It's going to say, for the word bottom, do you mean bottom border? Because bottom is not a character. Okay, you can think of border as a special character, the 4 sides. So the verb touch must involve 2 objects, 2 characters. When the ball touches the bottom border, border is a special character. Ball and border touch. Okay. Execute. So I'm going to lose right away. Yep. If you want the brick to start at a specific location, each time you can place the brick in the map. The symbol for the brick is K. You can place it on the 19th row. Okay. So the original game is called Breakout, Atari Breakout, from Atari, late 1970s. That took a long time to build. Right? Today, with Game Changineer, you can build this in less than 10 minutes. So we're done with 2 Sapphire Breaker. Let's go ahead and save it. Now open a new tab, click on UR Game Changineer, and go to Intermediate Samples to 2B, 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 Sapphire Breaker 2. Okay, don't copy the map yet. Do not copy the map yet, just the game plan for now. So pretty much the same thing. Okay, 40 sapphires aligned 4 by 10 near the top, brick near the bottom, ball near the middle, the speed of the ball, speed of the brick, A and D to control. So the same as before, same as 2. Everything else here is the same except for 1 sentence. The second sentence in the plot before it said the sapphire explodes and the ball bounces. Here it says the sapphire turns red and the ball bounces. The sapphire turns red and the ball bounces. All right. So let's execute and see what happens. Okay, it just turns red. The sapphire. Okay, it doesn't do anything. So now we're gonna add a few more sentences. When a sapphire is red, it moves down. When a sapphire touches the bottom border, it explodes. When a sapphire touches the brick, game over. Right? And then we say, when 25 sapphires have exploded, you win. How about that? So it's a different version of breakout. Instead of exploding on, on contact with the ball, now the sapphire explodes only when it touches the bottom border. You can also change the speed of the sapphire moving down. You know how to do that already. Right? You can just say the speed of the sapphire is whatever earlier in your game plan. All right. Now, what happens if I say the sapphire turns red for 3 seconds and the ball bounces? I add it for 3 seconds. Let's see what happens. It does exactly what we told it. You can try different things. And then, since I may sometimes hit a sapphire along the way, so I'm going to say when a red sapphire touches the brick, game over. So if I touch a sapphire that's not red, I don't die because it may stop somewhere down here in the path of the brick. And that's okay. I should be able to touch it without dying. Right here, see I'm touching it and I'm not dying. All right. I'll give you guys 90 seconds to play. Now we're going to add a map. Let's click on instructions on the upper left corner, instructions, the red instructions. And click on 1B, intermediate 2B, sorry, intermediate 2B again. And scroll down on the left panel, there's a little map. Click on this, copy and paste this map into the map. And also remove the very first sentence in the game plan. Because the first sentence says there are 40 sapphires. In the map, we do not have 40 sapphires. Okay, it's a different number. It's going to give you a warning. So remove this first sentence from the map, from the game plan, and then re-execute. Now, it's the same game, except the original positioning is different, right? Of the sapphires. Okay. Now I encourage you to create a very fancy layout of the sapphires. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the map. I'm going to add one more row of diamonds. D is for diamonds. So I'm going to do D dash D dash D dash 10 times. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to say, when the ball touches a diamond, the diamond becomes happy. It's not going to change color. It's not going to change color. But happy is also an attribute. It's adjective. Like, it does not have to be a real word. You can just say it becomes X1 or X2. Okay, it does not have to be a real word. But if it's not a real word, it has to be at least 2 characters, 2 letters. Okay, not just 1 letter. It cannot just be X, Y, or Z. When a diamond is happy, it moves down. You can say the speed of the diamond is whatever, but you can also add it here. It moves down at 4 pixels per frame. The unit of speed is pixels per frame. At 4 pixels per frame. When the diamond touches the brick, game over. When the diamond touches the bottom border, it explodes. Okay, so we added these 4 sentences and added diamonds in our map. Okay, so now the diamonds are like bombs dropping. You can be creative and add more things. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes to create. I can also say, when the ball touches the red, when the ball touches a red sapphire, by the way, there is a word completion. If you type 2 or more letters, the possible choices come up. So the red sapphire explodes. So when the ball touches a moving sapphire, basically, right? Touches a red sapphire. The touches a red sapphire, the red sapphire explodes. Yep, touching the red sapphire and the red sapphire explodes. You can also add an image to the background in addition to music. If you have a custom background image, you cannot share your game, okay, because there is no copyright check in the system. There's also no appropriateness of the image check. Unlike Facebook and Google, but even their checks are not perfect. So if you want to share your game, you must not have a custom background image. Okay, 2 more minutes. All right, so let's open a new tab, and now we're gonna start another set of games. Open a new tab, and then start from beginner, sample to number 3, simple invaders. 3, simple invaders. Copy and paste. So there are 20 aliens aligned on the left. There's a pointer near the bottom. So these are the only 2 things. 2 sets of characters in our setting. Again, we're using arrow keys to move left and right. And now this game, we are able to shoot. Spacebar to shoot. If you prefer using A and D to move, you can change that, left arrow and right arrow to A and D. Similar to the previous game where the ball starts by moving up, here the aliens start by moving to the right. Okay, and when an alien reaches the border, it turns around and it moves down 30 pixels. Okay, now because the pointers can shoot, we need to describe the interaction between the alien and the bullet. And the way we talk about the interaction with the bullet is when an alien is shot. When something is shot, that means it touches a bullet. Okay? So that's execute and see. Spacebar to shoot. So when an alien reaches the border, it turns around and it moves down 30 pixels. Okay. So now we're going to describe the winning condition. Instead of saying when all the aliens are gone, which you can. So I'm going to say when an alien explodes, score as 1. So when you type score, it gives you some hints. Score hint 1, score hint 2. When there are different things that you can do with the score. Score as 1. When the score equals 20, you win. Or 18, or 15. If you say when score equals 30, you win, then you will never win because we only have 20 aliens to start. Execute. Okay. So whenever your game has a score will appear on your canvas. In this case, on the upper right corner. Okay. You can reposition the place of the score. The symbol or the key for the score in the map is the equal sign. It's the equal sign. So I'm going to be silly. I'm going to put my score here. So you can reposition your score anywhere you want. Okay. So in this game, we learn about moving a number of pixels. We learn about bullets, and we learn about scores. Using score as a counter. All right, so go ahead and save your game. Go ahead and save your game. Save. Okay. For beginner level Space Invaders. Right? And now we're gonna open a new tab. Go to intermediate samples, 3B, 3B. Space Invaders 2. Copy and paste. All right. So everything is exactly the same as Simple Invaders, except for the last sentence. Everything is exactly the same. Same setting, same movement and shooting. Okay. The last one is when an alien is shot, it turns cyan. Before it was when an alien is shot, it explodes. Let's execute. Okay, so that's all it does. So suppose I say when a cyan alien is shot, it explodes. Let's see what happens. So it's like a game where you need to, where an enemy needs to be shot twice, right? To explode. An enemy needs to be shot twice. Okay. Now, if I scroll the left panel up a little bit, here there's a little note. It seems that if an object turns cyan, it may remain cyan forever. Okay. And that's exactly what we're saying. If you had not intended for this, one possible fix is to add a number of seconds, as we have done for the Pac-Man game, right? We can. So let's see. In this game, what we have is what we're doing effectively is when an alien is shot twice, it explodes, right? But remember, no programming language really allows for the concept of twice in their language syntax, because twice is very, very rich. You can say twice with many, many different things. That's how I'll illustrate right now. When an alien is shot, it turns cyan for 5 seconds. When an alien is shot, it explodes. So let's see. When the cyan alien is shot, it explodes. So now what we're doing is, effectively, when an alien is shot twice within the window of 5 seconds, then it explodes. If it is not within a window of 5 seconds, you need to shoot the alien twice again within the window of 5 seconds. As you can see, the concept of twice is very rich. You can combine twice with many different concepts. So even Game Changineer does not allow for the word twice. You must describe it in a different way by using color or adjectives. You can say an alien becomes angry for 5 seconds. When an angry alien is shot, it explodes. Okay? So now we're going to add, just like before, when an alien explodes, the score adds 1. When score equals 15, you win. Okay. Okay, so now the aliens do not attack us. Aliens do not attack us. So in 30 seconds, we're going to start 3C. We're going to start 3C where the aliens will attack us. So wrap up this game in 15 seconds. All right, let's open a new tab. Advanced samples 3C, Invaders 3, 3C, Space Invaders 3. Copy and paste. So we have already seen one built-in variable called speed. In this one, we're going to see another one called the size. Size. Can also change the size of characters. Okay. So the first 5 sentences are identical to the previous ones. The next 4 sentences are identical to 3B, identical. Turn silent for 5 seconds when the silent alien shot explodes. Okay, so the new things are here. We're going to use pearls as bombs. We're going to use pearls as bombs. Because we're making use of pearls, they should be declared in the setting. Okay, so we say there are 0 pearls initially. The speed of the pearls is 4. The size of the pearls is 9. You can change these if you want. When an alien is above the pointer, it inserts a pearl. The pearl moves down. Let's execute. So now we see, okay, when an alien is above the pointer, it inserts. That's how you spawn new objects. Okay, spawning a new object spawning an object requires a spawner, the inserter. Okay, you cannot remember. You cannot use imperative. You don't say when an alien is above the pointer, insert a pearl. That's a command. In Game Changineer, do not use avoid commands. Everything is descriptive. Somebody has to insert. And after the object is inserted, you just say what the object does. The pearl moves down. Okay, so we're going to say, going to talk about the interaction between the pearl and the pointer. When a pearl touches the pointer, both explode. When the pearl touches the bottom border, it explodes. Okay. The size of explosion is related to the size of the object. So as you can see, when the pearl touches the bottom border, you see a small explosion for the pearl. Right? But when it touches me, both explode. I need to say when the pointer explodes, game over. When the score equals 15, you win. We just say when an alien explodes, score as 1, just like before. Let's see. So now you have a completed 3C. You can also make the bombs explode when they are shot. You can say when the pearl is shot, it explodes. If you want to be able to shoot the pearls, it's up to you. All right, so I'll give you guys 4 minutes, 4 minutes to play, and and add things to this game. So in 2 minutes, we'll do Space Invaders 4. All right, wrap up your game in 30 seconds. Wrap up in 30 seconds. open a new tab. We're going to do 3D Invaders 4. Space Invaders 4. So this is a wide canvas game again. The canvas is wide with 3 frames. There's a pointer. So we learned about speed, size. Now a new one, angle. Angle. By the way, see next to instructions, there's tutorials. Today, 2 hours, I have covered less than 50%. Less than 50% of the tutorials. But, you know, if you're interested, you can always refer to tutorials to learn more of the concepts. All right, so there are 30 aliens, but the aliens will be spread out over 3 frames. The angle of the pointer is 90, right? And wait, so here's a short form of describing the 4 directions for the arrow key. When an arrow is pressed, the pointer moves in the same direction. So we use arrows to move up, down, left, and right. Space bar to shoot. Okay, so here is very similar to what we have seen before. And here we use garnets for the bombs. There are 0 garnets. The speed of the garnet is 4, the size of the garnet is 8. When an alien sees the pointer, it becomes angry, so it doesn't change color. Otherwise, the alien is not angry. When an angry alien is to the right of the pointer, when an angry alien is to the right of the pointer, it inserts a garnet. Because we have a wide canvas, so the alien could be to the right of the pointer far away. Here, when an angry alien is to the right, that means the alien is to the right of the pointer and the alien sees the pointer, right? Only when an alien sees the pointer, it becomes angry. And we need this otherwise, because when it becomes angry, it may become angry forever. We must reset its angry, the angry attribute, whenever it does not see the pointer. And then the garnet moves left at the speed of 4, right? So let's check it out. So I can move. I can shoot. Okay. So I'm going to reduce the number of aliens to 20 instead of 30. Seems like too many. And now I'm going to describe the interaction. It's object-oriented, so it's always, the description is always about the actions and interactions between the objects. When a garnet touches the pointer, both explode. When the pointer explodes, game over. When the garnet touches a border, it explodes. Okay. So now let's see. The speed of garnet may be too fast also. Okay. So now I'm going to add when an alien is cyan, it chases the pointer. Otherwise, it moves left. When an alien touches a border, it wraps around. Wrap around just it will enter from the other border. Okay. It's moving left. But when it's cyan, it's going to chase me. Let's try this one. Okay, cyan. So he's chasing me. It's chasing me. Otherwise, it moves left. And when an alien reaches the left border, it's going to come back from the right border, but the right border is 3 frames away. It's 3 frames away. There's some winning condition. Oh, there is. I think there is. When the score equals 25, you win. But right now we cannot win because I reduced the number of aliens to 20. So I need to change it to 18. You win. Okay, I'll give you guys 3 minutes to play, and we'll do a final game. Final game for the remaining 10 minutes. All right, remember to save your game. Save your game, and you can work on it later to improve it. Let's open a new tab. The final game we're gonna do. So as you can see, 1B, 1C are Pac-Man. 2B, 2C are breakout variations. Breakout and Pong variations. 3B, 3C, 3D are all Space Invader variations. The 4s are all jumping games. And then 5s are all sports games. We do not have time to cover all these, so we're just going to do advanced 4D. 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 Donkey Kong. So let's copy and paste. You can have invisible characters also. The entire setting in this game is in the map. Entire setting is in the map, so make sure you copy the map. Entire setting is in the map. And what I want you to see is the next time you play video games, most video games, almost all video games, have invisible characters in them. So the next time you play your favorite video game, ask yourself, where are the possible invisible characters in this game? So it also models the physics of jumping. All right. So let's execute and see. You can jump, and you can climb the stairs, the sapphires are the stairs. If you're on a stair, you cannot jump. And the goal is to reach the monkey. Now, when you touch a ball, the game is over. And all the invisible characters will show up when the game is over. So let's take a look. We have invisible chief, invisible emerald, invisible diamond, invisible pearl, and invisible topaz. Okay, when the ball hits the cheese, it moves down. So the ball starts by moving to the left. When it touches the cheese, it moves down. When it touches an emerald, it moves right. When it touches diamond, it moves down. So instead of diamond, I can put a cheese here. It will move down. Pearl, it moves left. Here's a broken ladder with a topaz. Right? We'll also have an invisible fox. Now moves left and right. It's invisible, we cannot see it. It moves left and right. So whenever the fox touches the monkey inserts a ball. That's why we have the monkey periodically inserting the ball. Right? So we can do the same thing to describe when a fox touches the topaz becomes happy for 3 seconds. When a ball touches the happy topaz, it moves down on this broken ladder, right? There are broken ladders in Donkey Kong. So the ball can also travel down broken ladders. Right now it does not, but by adding these two sentences, it can travel down the broken ladders. Let's see. So I'm going to wait here Let's see if this next ball will travel down the broken adder. Yep, travel down a broken adder. Again, the next time you probably will not. Yep, only when the topaz is happy. So now you can describe using invisible characters to help you. And I will also challenge you to redesign this platform, redesign the maze. Somebody did it before and shared it in the community showcase, right? Called Kong. But you can redesign it to a different layout. I would encourage you to take time to do that over the weekend. All right, any questions for me? We'll have 5 minutes, 4 minutes. I'll stay here for the remaining few minutes, if there are any questions. Otherwise, you're free to play. You're free to go also. Enjoy the rest of your camp. Thank you for coming today.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the what's the code you use to make this platform?
Okay, so it's web-based. So if you want to use web, there are limited number of languages. So I used PHP, Java, JavaScript, Ajax, and of course HTML and CSS.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. Do share with your friends. Thank you for coming and have a great day.